Okay, so let's proceed to Standard 5, work in a person-centered way. 1. Activity 5.1a, in health and social care, person-centered values are the guiding principles on how to support and assist in someone's life. Finish the sentence below to describe in your own words what the word value means. So the word value, when you value something, it means it's close to your heart, or it means it's important. Values could mean it is your upbringing, like if you have values, you got morals, so it's the upbringing of your parents. It could also mean your culture on how you behave or react on certain things. So yeah, values can be see that way as well, like your culture. Activity 5.1b, complete the table below to answer the following questions. So this one is like a repetition, but we just need to discuss it. Individuality, what is it? So being your own person, yeah, your character. So individuality, how would you put this into practice? Everyone is different. That's one answer, or unique. Why is it important to work in a way that promotes this when supporting an individual? Because you can deliver a quality service. The resident will be more satisfied if there's individuality. It's not like everything fits into one. So it's important to respect individuality. That could be your answer as well. Rights, a legal principle of freedom. So everyone got their rights. How would you put this into practice? So by respecting their rights, like do not discriminate them. If they requested something, it is their right, or if they complain about something, that's their right. So respect that. Why is it important? Because everyone have their own rights in their own way. So we need to respect rights and choices. Choice, act of choosing. So choices. How would you put this into practice? Always offer choices. That's how you put it into practice. Why is it important? Because my choices is different from your choices. So and the person knows what's best for him or for her. Or by doing so, that's why it's important, because it will make them to have or decide for better options. Privacy, a state in which one is not observed or disturbed by others. So your own privacy. How do we put this into practice? So knock before you enter in a room. That's respecting privacy. If they want to talk privately, close the door, leave the relatives with them. And that's another way of putting it. Why is it important? Because first and foremost, we are obligated or responsible in our workplace to protect their privacy. So it's part of our job to protect privacy. That's why it's important. You don't want your personal life or any personal details to be known to everyone. Independence, a state of being independent. So how do we put this in practice? Let the person do as much as they can. So being independent is, if they can wash themselves, let them wash themselves. If they can only wash their face, then let them wash their face. If they're able to eat, let them eat. Only help when they needed help. Why is this important? Because there's this sense of fulfillment. If you're being independent, they're able to physically do the things that they can. Otherwise, they won't be able to do it anymore, like feeding themselves or walking to the toilet, etc. Dignity, a state of being worthy. So dignity, there's like a thin line with dignity and privacy. So when you're washing someone, to provide dignity, you need to cover. That's also part of your privacy, but also in another way, it's for the dignity of the person. Dignity is when they're in the lounge and sometimes they don't know what's going on, maybe the skirt or something is not in the right order, cover them. That's dignity. Why is it important? It's about self-respect, dignity. It's important because the person value themselves, so that's why it's important. The next one is respect, a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something. So how do you put this into practice? One perfect example of respect is calling them with their preferred name. So instead of calling them love or honey or dear, can you stand up for me, dear? Or hello, love, I brought you your meal. Call them in their preferred name. That's how you put respect into practice. Why is it important? Again, it's for self-worth. It's like they value themselves, so you need to respect it. Partnership, a state of being partner or working together. So how do you put this into practice? Involve the resident. So in choosing their clothes, in choosing their meal, involve them. That's how you work in partnership with them. Why is it important? It's called teamwork. It's like they can't do the whole thing by themselves, and if you offer your hand, then it becomes less for them. So it's teamwork. Activity 5.1c, providing person-centered care or support that is specific to the individual's needs, wishes, and preferences will ensure that the individual is always at the center of their care. Dignity is one of the values included in person-centered care. Complete the diagram below to identify ways in which you can promote dignity in your day-to-day work. An example has been provided for you. So the first example that they did is supporting someone to join in an activity or discussion. So ways I can promote dignity in my work. As I said earlier, calling them with their preferred name. So that's one. Number two, offer choices like with their clothes, etc. 3, give them time. So allow time for them to do something. And then another one is promote independence. If they can able to wash themselves, let them do it. Another answer here is knock when you enter the door, or another about privacy is close the door when they're having a conversation with either the nurse or their family. Alright. Activity 5.2a, case study. Badia or Badaya is one of the individuals that you care for since last week. She has moved to England from Laos last year. You have noticed that Badaya or Badia sometimes only picks at her meals without really eating it, or without really eating anything. Badia or Badaya is wearing a headscarf and you are unsure whether this is a fashion item. So the question is, why it is important to find out Badaya's history, preferences, wishes, and needs in order to care for her in a person-centered way. This is to know what Badaya's preferences or likes and dislikes, so that you will understand Badaya in a holistic approach. So it is important to find out Badaya's history, preferences, wishes, and needs, because there are a lot of things that might be different, like the individuality. For example, the scarf that you might think is just a fashion item, it might be related to her culture. The types of food that she likes to eat, and activities that she wants to join or participate. So it's really good to read and check if Badaya is able to converse and tell you what she likes or dislikes, then it's a lot better. Activity 5.2b, explain why it is important that an individual's changing needs are reflected in his care and or support plan. Give one example of when someone's care plan would need to be changed or adjusted. So one example is eating pattern. They might start with a normal diet and then might progress into a soft meal to pureed meal. So when it takes long time or they're holding the food in their mouth, it's time for you to ask the nurse to assess or refer to the SALT team to check about the changes with the diet. Another example is with their mobility. If they can't stand anymore or walk, or they're experiencing like discomfort or struggles to get up in the morning, then it's probably time to do an assessment, refer to your nurses, or maybe the nurses will refer to physio for assessment of their mobility. Activity 5.2c, the person-centered approach, has the understanding that every person has a need to fulfill their personal potential. Answer the questions below to show your understanding of the importance of supporting individuals to plan for their future well-being. So number 1, why is it important to support individuals to plan for their future well-being and fulfillment? Because their capacity can change anytime. So it is important to plan for their future well-being and fulfillment early when they still got the capacity. Number 2, what do you have to be aware of if working with individuals at the end of their life? So you need to be aware of the changes that's gonna happen, and also to be non-judgmental when giving support to them. You need to be aware of that. So with end of life, taking care of person with end of life, we also got our own views and our own opinion, but when dealing with that, we put it aside and respect what the individuals want. Okay, so don't be judgmental. They might request certain things like, I don't want my son to be here, etc., etc., and you need to support them with that. All right, so the keyword for this, the answer is to not be judgmental when supporting an individual at the end of their life. Right, activity 5.5b. Usually, if a person feels uncomfortable with the way they are sitting or lying, they will move about until they find a more comfortable position. Individuals with limited movement or mobility might not be able to do this. So you need to make sure that you recognize if they need your help and assistance to feel more at ease. Name 3 ways in which an individual might show that they are in pain or discomfort, and give 1 example for each. So, making strange noises, example, groaning or crying. Facial expression, like if they're grimacing, or you can see in their face that they're in pain. Sweating is another sign of discomfort. They might feel pain or discomfort, that's why they're sweating. So another answer could be how person reacts. For example, you just wanted to offer help to move them. You haven't touched them yet, but you're about to touch the knee or leg, and then they already scream or they pull it away. That means that they're not comfortable or they're in pain. All right. Activity 5.6a. In order to promote the individual's well-being, they need to be happy with as many aspects of their life as possible. Complete the table below to answer the following questions. So we've got here, what does each aspect tell us about this? So spiritual is an invisible force, intangible things. So they believe on something that it's hard to see. So that's being spiritual. Emotional, it's about the mood, feelings. Cultural, it's about background, about their values, where they're from. Religious, it's about beliefs. Some got their religion. Others is about beliefs. So if they believe in nature, etc. Social, it's about being sociable. Friends, family, community, that's about social well-being. Political, it's their political views. Some people are non-political, so it still falls on this category. So political views, that's the answer for political. Sexual, it pertains to their sexuality. Physical, it's about physical well-being. So some loves to go to gym, etc. Mental, it's the mental state and the capacity of the person. Alright, that's it.